The Fivefold Footstool. Paduka Panchaka. Introductory verse. I meditate on the Guru in the lotus of 1,000 petals, which is radiant like the cool rays of the full moon, whose lotus hands make the gestures which grant blessings and dispel fear. His raiment, garland and perfumes are ever fresh and pure. His countenance is benign. He is in the Hamsa in the head. He is the Hamsa himself. Verse 1. I adore the wonderful white lotus of 12 letters, which is within the womb of and inseparable from the pericarp of the lotus, in which is the Brahmarandra, and which is adorned by the channel of Kundalini. Commentary. The hymn Paduka Panchaka, composed by him of 5 faces, destroys all demerit. Kali Charana, by his tika called Amala, meaning stainless, makes patent its beauty. Sadashiva, the liberator of the 3 worlds, being desirous of speaking of Guru Dhyana Yoga in the form of a hymn or stotra, first of all describes the place of the Guru. The verb bhaje is first person singular, Atmanepada, emphasizing that Shiva himself adores or worships. He says, I do adore or worship. By saying so, he expresses the necessity that all worshippers of the mantras revealed by him should adore this wonderful 12-petaled lotus. He thus shows the necessity of his worship. The meaning of this verse in brief is this: I adore the 12-petaled lotus, which is within the pericarp of the Sahasrara. By wonderful, Adbhuta means it excites our wonder by reason of its being pervaded by the luster or tejas of Brahman, and for other reasons. By lotus of 12 letters, Dwadasharna Sara Shiruha, that is, the lotus which contains 12 letters. The 12 letters, according to those learned in the Tantras, are the 12 letters which make the Guru Mantra. They are Sa, S-A, Ha, H-A, Ka, K-H-A, Frem, P-H-R-E-M, Ha, H-A, Sa, S-A, Ksha, K-S-H-A, Ma, M-A, La, L-A, Va, V-A, Ra, R-A, and Yam, Y-A-M. Some say that the Dwasharana is meant the 12th vowel, which is the Vagbhava Bija. But that cannot be so. If it were so, the authority quoted below would be tautologous. Meditate on your Guru, who is Shiva, as being on the lustrous Hamsa Pitta, the substance of which is mantra, which is in the pericarp of the lotus of 12 letters, near the region of the moon in the pericarp, and which is adorned by the letters Ha, La, and Ksha, which are within the triangle A-Ka-Ta. The lotus of 12 letters is in the pericarp of the Sahasrara. The above passage speaks of the mantra Maya Pitta. The mantra substance of this Pitta is the Guru mantra in the form of Vagbhava Bija. There would therefore be a repetition of the same mantra. Dwadasharna is made up by a Bhaviri Samsa, that is, in which there are Dvadasha or 12 Arnas, meaning letters. The lotus has therefore 12 petals, on which are the 12 letters. It is true that the letters are not here specified, and there has been nothing said as to where they are placed, but the Guru Gita says that the letters Hum and Sa surround, that is, as petals, the lotus, wherein the Guru should be meditated. This leads us to the conclusion that the letters Hum and Sa are repeated 6 times, thus making 12, and so the number of petals becomes clearly 12, as each petal contains 1 letter. This is a fit subject of consideration for the wise. By inseparable from, Nitya Lagnam, that is, it is connected with the Sahasrara in such a way that one cannot be thought of without thinking of the other. By which is within the womb of and inseparable from the pericarp of the lotus, in which is the Brahmarandra. Brahmarandra Sarasiruhodara, that is, the Sahasrara, the 1,000-petaled lotus in which is the Brahmarandra, within its womb, that is to say, within it, Tanmadhye, that is, within its pericarp. The Kankala Malini, in describing the lotus of 1,000 petals, thus speaks of the place of the Brahmarandra. In its Sahasrara pericarp, O Devashi, is Antaratma, and above it is the Guru. Above him is the Surya Mandala and Chandra Mandala and Mahavayu, and above it is Brahma Randra. Some say that by Udara, that is, belly or interior, is meant within the triangle in the pericarp. That is not right. The word Udara here means interior or center. The interior of the lotus contains its pericarp, but the text does not mean the interior of the triangle in the pericarp, because the triangle is not here mentioned. The Shyama Saparya quotes the following explicit. The lotus of 12 petals or letters is within the pericarp of the white lotus of 1,000 petals, which has its head turned downward, and the filaments of which are of the color of the rising sun, and which is adorned by all the letters of the alphabet. Here the statement within the pericarp is explicit. By adorned by the channel of Kundali, Kundali Vivara Kandamanditam, it means the Vivara channel is that by which Kundalini goes to Shiva in the Sahasrara. The Chitrini contains within it this passage or channel. Chitrini is the tube or stalk, as it were, through which the passage runs, and Chitrini adorns and is adorned by this lotus. As a lotus rests on its stalk, so does the 12-petaled lotus rest on Chitrini, and is made beautiful by its stalk. Verse 2. I adore the abode of Shakti, in the place where the 2 pericarps come together. It is formed by the lines A, Ka, and Ta, and the letters Ha, La, and Ksha, which are visible in each of its corners, give it the character of a mandala. Commentary. The Guru should be meditated upon as in the triangle Akata within the pericarp of the lotus before mentioned. He now wishes to describe the triangle so that an adequate conception of it may be formed. By the abode of Shakti, Abala Layam. By Abala is meant Shakti. Here she is Kamakala, triangular in form, and the 3 Shaktis, Vama, Jeshta, and Raudri are the lines of the triangle. These three lines or Shaktis emanate from the three Bindus. Kamakala is the abode of Shakti. The Yamala speaks of the identity of Kamakala with this abode. The passage begins, I now speak of Kamakala, and proceeding says, she is the three Bindus. She is the three Shaktis. She is the threefold manifestation. She is the everlasting. That is, Kamakala is composed of the three Shaktis spoken of. He next speaks of the attributes of Abala Laya, that is, the abode of Shakti, by the place where the two pericaps come together, Kandalita Karni Kapute. It means, Kandala originally means a quarrel in which one attacks the other with words. Here its significance is merely that the pericap of one, that is, the 12-petaled lotus, is included within the other. Place, or putta, that is, the place where the triangle is formed by the lines A, Ka, and Ta. The 16 vowels beginning with A form the line Vama. The 16 letters beginning with Ka form the line Jeshta, and the 16 letters beginning with Ta form the line Raudri. The abode of Shakti is formed by these three lines. The Brihat Shri Krama, in dealing with Kamakala, says, from the Bindu as the sprouting root, she has assumed the form of letters. The letters Ha, La, and Ksha, which are visible in its corners, give it the character of a mandala. Kona Lakshita Ha, La, Ksha, Mandali Bhava Lakshyam. This means, in its corners, that is, in the inner corners of the aforesaid triangle. The three corners of the triangle are at the apex, the right and the left. The letters Ha, La, and Ksha, which are visible there, give the place the character of a mandala. One cannot form an adequate conception of this triangle without knowing it in all its particulars, and that is why other authorities are quoted. This triangle should be so drawn as if it were to walk around. It would always be on one's left. The Shaktananda Tarangini says, write the triangle A-Ka-Ta so that walking outside it is always on one's left. Kali Urdhvamnaya says, the three Bindu is the supreme tattva and embodies within itself Brahma, Vishnu, and Shiva. The triangle composed of the letters has emanated from the Bindu. Also, the letters A to Visarga make the line Brahma, which is the line of Prajapati. The letters Ka to Ta make the most supreme Bharat Para, line of Vishnu. The letters Ta to Sa make the line of Shiva. The three lines emanate from the three Bindus. The Tantra Jivana says, the lines Rajas, Sattva, and Tamas surround the Yoni Mandala. Above is the line of Sattva. The line of Rajas is on the left, and the line of Tamas is on one's right. By a careful consideration of the above authorities, the conclusion is irresistible that the letters A, Ka, Ta go in the direction above mentioned. The Swatantra Tantra says, the lines A, Ka, Ta surround the letters Ha, La, and Ksha. It therefore places the letters Ha, La, and Ksha within the triangle. It is needless to discuss the matter at greater length. Verse 3. In my heart I meditate on the jeweled altar, Manipita, and on Nada and Bindu as within the triangle aforespoken. The pale red glory of the gems in this altar shames the brilliance of the lightning flash. Its substance is Chit. Commentary. The place of the Guru is on the jeweled altar within the triangle. He therefore describes the jeweled altar, that's Manipita. In my heart, Hriddhi, that is, in my mind, or Manasi. On the jeweled altar and on Nada and Bindu. Nada Bindu Manipita Mandalam. The compound word may be formed in two ways. Manipita Mandalam along with Nada and Bindu, that's Nada Bindu Bhyam Saha, or Nada and Bindu and Manipita Mandalam, that is, all these three. Some interpret this to mean that the mandala Manipita is composed of Nada and Bindu, but that cannot be. Nada is white and Bindu is red, and the pale red glory whereby the Manipita shames the luster of the lightning flash is neither red nor white. The Sharada Tilaka says, "This Bindu is Shiva and Shakti, and divides itself into three different parts. Its divisions are called Bindu, Nada, and Bija." If this be interpreted to mean, as it ought to be, that Binda is Para Shakti Maya, and Bija, Nada, and Bindu are respectively fire, moon, and sun, then Nada being the moon is white, and Bindu being the sun is red. Purnananda also speaks of Nada being white like Baladeva. The Brihat Sri Krama also says, "There was the imperishable Bindu, lustrous red like the young sun." Now as one is white and the other red, they can never be the pale red gem. The meaning given by us is therefore correct. The solution is that Nada is below and Bindu above, and Manipita is between the two. Thus one should meditate. This has been clearly shown in the Guru Dhyana in Kankala Malani Tantra. Meditate on the excellent Antaratma in the region of the lotus of 1,000 petals, and above it meditate on the resplendent throne between Nada and Bindu, and on this throne meditate upon the eternal Guru, white like a mountain of silver. The pale red glory of the gems in this altar shames the brilliance of lightning. Patu tadit kad drima spardhamana mani patala prabham. This qualifies Manipita Mandalam. To be Patu is to be able to fully do one's work. Now lightning wants to display itself. Here the idea is that the pale red luster of the gems in the Pita shames the uninterrupted brilliance of the reddish-yellow Pingala lightning flash. It is of a pale red color, inasmuch as the Manipita is covered all over with gems. Its substance is Chit, Chinmayam Vapu. The Chinmaya or Jnanamaya body, the body of Nada, Bindu and Manipita, is Chinmaya or Jnanamaya. Others interpret it to mean, I meditate on the Chinmaya body of the 12th vowel, the Bija of Saraswati, which is the Guru mantra. But that is wrong. The Guru is white, and his Bija is also white. To attribute it to a pale red luster would be incongruous. Verse 4. I intently meditate on the 3 lines above it, Manipita, beginning with the line of fire, and on the brilliance of Manipita, which is heightened by the luster of those lines. I also meditate on the primordial Hamsa, which is the all-powerful great light in which the universe is absorbed. Commentary. On Hamsa-pita, which is within the triangle on Manipita, between Nada and Bindu, is the place of the Guru. He now wishes to describe Hamsa and the triangle in order that a clear conception of these two may be gained. The meaning of this verse is shortly this. I meditate on the primordial Hamsa. I meditate on the 3 lines, beginning with the line of fire above the place of Manipita, and also on the glory of the Manipita itself, illumined as it is by the light of the 3 lines of fire and others. The verb I meditate occurs once in this verb, and governs 3 nouns in the objective case. I intently meditate, vyamrishami. That is, I think with mind undisturbed, excluding all subjects likely to interfere with my thoughts. Above it, urdhvam asya, that is, above Manipita. The 3 lines beginning with the line of fire. Hutta bhukshika taryam. This compound word is made up according to the rule known as Shakka Partiva, by which the word adi, which comes in between 2 words, is dropped. Adi means and others. The line of fire, which is called the line Vama, emanates from Vani Bindu in the south and goes to the northeast corner, and the line of moon emanates from Chandra Bindu in the northeast corner and goes towards the northwest corner. This is the line Jeshta. The line of sun emanates from Surya Bindu in the northwest corner and reaches Vani Bindu. This is the line Raudri. The triangle which is formed by the 3 lines uniting the 3 Bindus is Kamakala. The Brihat Shri Krama says, she whose form is letters is coiled up in the Bindu and comes out thereof as a sprouting seed from the south. From there she goes to the Ishana corner, that's the northeast. She who thus goes is the Shakti Vama. This is Chitkala Para and the line of fire. The Shakti which has thus gone to the Ishana corner then goes in a straight line, that is, to the northwest. This line is the line of Jeshta. This, O Parmeshwari, is Tripura, the sovereign mistress. Again turning left, she returns to the place of sprouting. She is Raudri, and by her union with Ichcha and Nada makes the Shrimgata. The Maheshwari Samhita says, Surya, Chandra and Vani are the 3 Bindus, and Brahma, Vishnu and Shambhu are the 3 lines. The Prema Yoga Tarangini, in describing the Sahasrara, quotes an authority which is here cited, clearly showing that the place of the Guru is within the triangle. Within it is the excellent lightning-like triangle. Within the triangle are two imperishable bindus in the form of Visarga. Within it, in the void, is Shiva, known by the name of Parama. Shankaracharya has also shown this clearly in the Ananda Lahiri. The author of the Lalita Rasya also speaks of the Guru as seated on Visarga. Visarga is the two bindus, Chandra and Surya, at the upper angles of the downturned triangle. On the primordial Hamsa, Adi Hamsayor Yugam. Literally interpreted, it would mean the union of the primordial Ham and Sa. By Adi, or first, is implied the Paramahamsa, which is also known as Antaratma and not the Jivatma, which resembles the flame of a lamp. The Hamsa here is the combination of Prakriti and Purusha. In Agama Kalpadruma Pancha Shakta, it is said, Hamkara is Bindu and Visarga is Sa. Bindu is Purusha and Visarga is Prakriti. Hamsa is the union of Pum, or male, and Prakriti, female. The world is pervaded by this Hamsa. Some interpreted Asya Urdhvam to mean above Manipita, and say that the verse means I meditate on the union of the two who constitute the primordial Hamsa above Manipita. This is wrong. The Kankala Malini speaks of the Manipita as above Hamsa and between Nada and Bindu. So how can these be below Hamsa? This is impossible. This also shows the impossibility of the reading adopted by some, namely Hutta Bhuk Shika Sakam in place of Hutta Bhuk Shika Trayam. If this reading were accepted, then the words Urdhvam Asya, meaning above it, have no meaning. The interpretation I meditate on the union of, as given above, may however be understood in the following sense. We have seen that the Kankala Malini speaks of the Hamsa as below the Manipita, which is between Nada and Bindu. The interpretation mentioned is in great conflict with the view of Kankala Malini. But if Hutta Bhuk Shika Trayam be read as qualifying Hamsa, then the difficulty may be removed. Then the meaning would be, below Manipita is Hamsa, and above it is the triangle Kamakala, which is formed by Hamsa. Which is the all-powerful great light in which the universe is absorbed. Vishva Ghasmara Machoch Chidot Katam. Bhaksh and Ghas mean the same thing. The root Ghas means to devour, and the roots Chid, Hlad, and Dip all mean to shine. The great light Mahochchit, which is the devourer, Gasmara, of the universes, by that is meant that it is all-powerful, or Utkata. Utkata, which literally means very high, here means very powerful. Verse 5. The mind there contemplates the two lotuses, which are the feet of the Guru, and of which the ruby-colored nectar is the honey. These 2 feet are cool like the nectar of the moon, and are the place of all auspiciousness. Commentary. Having described the place where the 2 lotus feet of the Guru should be meditated upon, he now speaks of the sadhaka's union therewith by meditation on them in this and the following verse. By there, tatra, it means in the triangle on the Manipita. The meaning of this verse in short is, the mind there within the triangle on the Manipita contemplates upon the lotus feet of the Guru, of which the ruby-colored nectar is the honey. Kumkumasava parimarandayo. This qualifies the lotuses. Kunkuma means red, the color of luck. The excellent nectar, which is the color of luck, is the honey of the lotus feet of the Guru. Some read jhari for pari. The meaning would then be, from which flows like honey the ruby-colored nectar. Cool like the nectar of the moon. Indu makarandashi talam. That is, they are cool like the nectar, like beams of the moon. As the beams of the moon counteract heat, so does devotion to the feet of the Guru overcome sorrow and suffering. Place of all auspiciousness. Mangalaspadam. It is the place where one gets all the desires. The sense is that, by devout concentration on the feet of the Guru, all success is attained. Verse 6. I adore in my head the two lotus feet of the Guru. The jeweled footstool on which they rest removes all sin. They are red like young leaves. Their nails resemble the moon, shining in all her glory. Theirs is the beautiful luster of lotuses, glowing in a lake of nectar. Commentary. He says here, I adore the two lotus feet of the Guru, resting on the footstool already described in my head. By adoration here is meditation meant. The jeweled footstool on which they rest removes all sin. Nishaktamani Paduka Nishyamitaga Kolahalam. This is, all the multitude of sins are removed by devotion to the jeweled footstool, which serves as the resting place of his feet. Or it may be interpreted thus. The footstool, which is studded with gems, that is, the Manipita Mandala, which is the footstool, removes all the multitude of sins. By meditating on the feet of the Guru as resting on this stool, all sins are destroyed. Or it may be thus interpreted. The 5 footstools, with which are inseparably connected the gems, destroy all the multitude of sins. By meditating first on the 5 footstool, and then on the feet of the Guru as resting thereon, sin is removed. As the removal of sins is effected by meditation on the 5 footstool, it is the cause which effects such removal. They are like young leaves. Spurat kisala yarunam. That is, the feet of the Guru possesses the red color of newly opened leaves. The leaves of the mango and keduka tree, when newly opened, are of a red color, and comparison is made with them. Their nails resemble the moon shining in all her glory. Nakasa mulas chandrakam. That is, the toenails are like so many beautifully shining moons. Theirs is the beautiful luster of lotuses growing in a lake of nectar. Paramrita, Sarovarodita, Saroja, Sadrochisam. That is, they have the clear luster of lotuses growing in a lake of nectar. He means to say that the excellent nectar drops constantly from the lotus feet of the Guru. Purnananda has said the same thing in verse 43 of the Shat-chakra-nirupana. The excellent nectar is the lake on which the feet show like lotuses. It has been said that the place of the Guru is between the pericaps of the two lotuses aforementioned. Now a question may be raised as to whether it is in the pericap of the 12-petaled lotus below, or in that of the Sahasrara above. To solve this, the following passages are quoted. Brihat Shrikama says, "Then meditate upon the lotus which, with its head downward, is above all, and which drops nectar on the Shakti of the Guru in the other lotus." The Yamala says, "The lotus of 1,000 petals is like a canopy. It is above all, and drops red nectar." The Guru Gita says, "In your own Guru, meditate on the Supreme Guru, as having 2 arms in the lotus, whose petals have the letters Hum and Sa, and are surrounded by all the causes of the universe. Although he manifests in all the varying degrees, he is without and beyond the universe. On his will there are no limitations. From him emanates the light of liberation. He is the visible embodiment of the letters of the word Guru." The Shyama Saparya quotes the following: "The lotus Sahasrara, downward turned, in the head is white. Its filaments are of the color of the rising sun. All the letters of the alphabet are on its petals. In the pericap of the Sahasrara is Chandra Mandala, and below the pericap is the lustrous lotus of 12 petals, which contains the triangle Akata, marked out by the letters Ha, La, and Sha. Meditate there on your Guru, who is Shiva, seated on the Hamsa Pitta, which is composed of mantras." The above and similar passages indicate that the place of the Guru is in the pericap of the lotus of 12 petals. The Kankala Malini says, "Meditate on the excellent Antaratma in the lotus of 1,000 petals, and on the shining throne which is between Nada and Bindu, and constantly upon your own Guru, who is like a mountain of silver." The Yamala says, "Meditate on your Guru in the lotus of 1,000 petals. His cool beauty is like that of the full moon, and his lotus hands are lifted up to grant boons and to dispel fear." The Purashcharana Rasolasa has the following dialogue. Sri Mahadeva said, "There in the pericap of the wonderful, everlasting lotus of 1,000 petals, meditate always on your own Guru." Sri Parvati said, "The head of the great lotus of 1,000 petals, O Lord, is always downward turned. They say, O Deva, how can the Guru constantly dwell there?" Sri Mahadeva said, "Well hast thou asked, O beloved. Now listen while I speak to thee. The great lotus Sahasrara has 1,000 petals, and is the abode of Sadashiva, and is full of eternal bliss. It is full of all kinds of delightful fragrance, and is the place of spontaneous bliss. The head of this lotus is always downward, but the pericap is always upward, and united with Kundalini is always in the form of a triangle." The Bala Vilasa Tantra has the following. Sri Dakshinamurti said, "As you awake in the morning, meditate on your Guru in the white lotus of 1,000 petals, the head of which great lotus is downward turned, and which is decorated with all the letters of the alphabet. Within it is the triangle known by the name of Akata, which is decked with the letters Ha, La, and Sha. He of the smiling countenance is on the Hamsapita, which is in the region of the Chandra Mandala within it." Sri Devi said, "O Lord, how does the Guru stay there when its head is turned downwards?" Sri Dakshinamurti said, "The Chandra Mandala in the pericap of the lotus of 1,000 petals is turned upward. The Hamsa is there, and there is the Guru's place." These and similar passages speak of the place of the Guru as in the pericap of the lotus of 1,000 petals. As there are two distinct methods, one should follow the instruction of the Guru and adopt one of the two in his sadhana. For it has been laid down in the Kulnarva Tantra, "Beloved Vedas and Tantras handed down to us by tradition, as also mantras and usages, become fruitful if communicated to us by the Guru and not otherwise." Verse 7. This hymn of praise of the 5-footstool was uttered by him of 5 faces. By the recitation and hearing of, it is attained that good which is gained by the recitation and hearing of all the hymns in praise of Shiva. Such fruit is only attainable by great labor in the wandering samsara. Commentary. He now speaks of the good gained by reciting and listening to this stotra. Hymn of praise of the 5-footstool. Paduka Panchaka Stotram. Paduka means a footstool. The 5 of these are: 1. The 12-petaled lotus. 2. The triangle Akata in its pericap. 3. The region of the Nada, Bindu, and Manipita in it. 4. The Hamsa below. And 5. The triangle on the Manipita. Or they may be counted thus: 1. The lotus. 2. The triangle. 3. Nada Bindu. 4. The Manipita Mandala. And 5. The Hamsa, which is above it and taken collectively form the triangular Kamakala. Stotra is a hymn of praise. This hymn, including the verse which speaks of the benefit to be gained by listening to it, is one of 7 verses. Uttered by him of 5 faces, Panchavakrad Vinirgatam. The 5 faces of Shiva, as given in the Lingarchana Tantra, are: on the west, that is back, is Sadyojata. On the north, that's the left, is Vamadeva. On the south, the right, is Aghora. And on the east, the front, is Tat Purusha. Ishana should be known as being in the middle. They should thus be meditated upon in a devout spirit. Vinirgata means uttered, that is, uttered by those 5 faces. By it is attained that good. Shadamnaya Phala Pratam. This literally means, by it is obtained the fruit of what has been spoken by the 6 mouths. The 6 faces are the 5 given above, and a 6th concealed one, which is below, called tamasa. This is alluded to in Shat-chakra-nirupana in the Shiva Tantra thus: Om Hum Hrim Om Hrim Tamasaya Svaha are also in the meditation or dhyana there given thus. The lower face Nilakantha is of the color caused by the deadly poison Kalakutta. Shadamnaya is what has been spoken by these faces, that is, all the hymns of praise to Shiva. By the fruit of this is meant the benefit gained by reciting or listening to all these mantras and practicing the appropriate sadhana. This is what is gained through this hymn. It is attainable by great labor in this wandering. Prapanche chadi durlabham. By prapancha is meant this samsara, or world, comprising the universe from all effects up to Brahma, and which is shown by Maya. It is difficult of attainment, as it is the result of manifold merit acquired by the practice of laborious endeavor in previous births. End of the commentary of the name of Amala, that is stainless, written by Sri Kalicharana on the Paduka Panchaka Stotra.